Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your Saturn special horoscope covering Saturn's move into the sign of Sagittarius at the very end of 2014 for the better part of the next 3 years. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. Saturn moving into a new sign does suggest that all of us in some way are going to understand that our most important learning is going to come if we pay attention to the lessons that we are being called to, if we pay attention, if we act practical, and if we put in the time to gain tangible results. Saturn, ultimately, it is my belief, and a lot of astrologers out there do believe, that Saturn is reward. Saturn needn't be difficult. Even though he gets a pretty bad rap, Saturn is saying manifest and honor the fact that we are incarnated. Honor the physical plane. And this is going to be a big lesson for all of us in some way. Saturn, as he moves to the sign of Sagittarius, will be speaking with Jupiter and Neptune and Uranus as well. All of this does speak to this call to be honest with ourselves, to put in the time, and to practically manifest, to move beyond what might be a dream, even a pipe dream, and actually do the work so that we gain something very valuable in the process, self-respect, which is ultimately what Saturn is truly about. Now, I have created a special video to look at Saturn, how Saturn moving into Sagittarius is going to speak to us collectively. But this video is, of course, for your sign. I thank you so much for being here. And I thank all of you out there who've been requesting these videos for months. Thank you so much for your trust in my interpretation of the sky. It will be a great transit. I do believe that. And it will be a great move as Saturn moves through the sign of Sagittarius. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Leo. Thank you for being here. Saturn's move into the sign of Sagittarius should be a better experience for you than it would necessarily be for most. And that's because Saturn is moving into a part of the sky that has to do with creation. It has to do with creativity. It has to do with fertility and self-actualization as well, not to mention romance as well. And when Saturn moves into this part of the sky, it has to do with getting serious about these parts of life, about these areas of life, getting serious and understanding that happiness requires you to make changes, to take steps, and to take risks as well. Now, what those changes are going to be might not necessarily feel clear in the first part of this journey, of Saturn's journey through the sign of Sagittarius for the better part of 3 years. The main reason for that is because of the way that Saturn will be communicating with Neptune and Jupiter. However, having said that, somewhere within you, you know that this is a journey that needs to be undertaken. And so you do. And the rewards will be there. Once we get you to the end of 2016 into 2017, that's when the rewards will be there for the learning and the process that you're engaged in, especially as you begin this transit. So let's break it down. Let's take it one at a time. Creativity and creation. And I think about this as having to do with your passion and getting serious about the things that you're passionate about. This part of the sky is connected to self-employment as well. When that self-employment comes from a place of doing something that you love to do. That's what this part of the sky comes down to. What do you love to do? And how can you do it more often? How can you do it in a way that creates greater stability and tangible progress in your life? That is going to be an area of focus for you. Now, when Saturn is in this part of the sky, it does ask you to trust a process towards taking what might be a hobby, what might be something that's really fun, and actually making it into something that you can then build, whether it's your own business, or build something that at the very least can help you to feel that you've done something good that you can be proud of as well. So Saturn takes you on that journey. There's an element here also that has to do with the creative process, whether you're an artist or not. And this is about getting serious about the creative process. What is it that you need to do in order to maximize your ability to think differently, to bring in new ideas? There is the association here with fertility. So if you are one of those people who wants to have a child or isn't sure, this is a time when you get clear about what you really want, if you want that or not. And if you do want that, you start to get clear on what it's going to take for you to actually manifest that, to actually manifest a pregnancy. Now, I do want to say that if you are one of those people who's experienced challenges with fertility, the first part of this cycle, I mean, sometimes one possibility for some Leos out there can be that at first you feel that, you know what, yeah, I actually do want to have a child. I didn't think I did, but yeah, I actually do. And then you start to do things that aren't really taking you in the right direction. That's because of, again, Jupiter, Neptune, having some interesting conversations with Saturn that might not necessarily take you in the right direction. However, with the support of Uranus towards the later part of the cycle, you could find yourself pregnant, and very happily pregnant, getting the right treatment at just the right moment. That changes just about everything. So if that is something that you want, keep your hope. Okay, so because there's lots of reason for hope, lots of tangible progress to be had and to be made as well. I really like this transit for you in the regard of children as well, because it isn't only about you being fertile, if you will, or having a child. The sky certainly does support that. Even if it feels challenging at first, the sky does support that, especially as we move further into the coming 3 years. But with children, it does look like if there's any causes of concern or you're not sure the help that your children might need, how you can be a more effective parent, how you can care for your children as well as you'd like to, what is it that they actually need from you as a parent to feel truly empowered? Or if it just seems like they're making choices or doing things that make you feel a little concerned for them, make you feel a little bit disappointed, make you feel uncertain as well, that maybe they're keeping things from you, know that ultimately this is leading you in a really good direction. It's teaching you what it is ultimately, who it is ultimately that you want to be with your children. And you will notice that if any issues come up around children at the beginning of the cycle, by the time we get to the later part, especially in 2017, there is so much hope for really sudden turnarounds, the best kind of turnarounds to take place, and for your children being in a much better place and a much stronger place as well. And so for the few of you out there that might experience some issues around children, don't worry if anything comes up. It looks like the answers might not necessarily be known at first. And don't worry about that. The right answers will come. And once they do come, there's just an acceleration, a wonderful transformation, really, that takes place. This energy can also play out in the context of romance. So I got to talk about romance with this, because that tends to be a big way that this energy plays out. And in the context of romance, this can be, if you are one of those people who's open to love, who wants love, you realize that there are going to be some things that you have to do to make yourself available to the process of love and of relationships. And at first it might not be very clear. I got to be honest with that. At first it might not feel very clear. There might be an element here of maybe you want to work with a therapist if you haven't been in a relationship in a while and you want to look at why there isn't love. If you are one of those people who feels like you don't have a relationship, this can bring a call, a desire to be in a relationship, or at least to be dating, to be in the game, if you will. And at the beginning, there might be some use to be had. Even though it doesn't feel like a process that you're going to be very enthusiastic about, you actually might be able to come up with some questions that work very well for you, that help you a lot in the path. But ultimately, Saturn is about doing. It's about also doing in the physical world as well. So while we have that energy there sort of supporting you asking yourself some tough questions and looking at that, looking at yourself more honestly in the context of where you are right now in love, that energy plays out in the beginning. But there's also an energy playing out in the beginning, and I'm going to be really honest with you. This is about either you consciously not being completely honest as you engage with new people or with somebody that you're dating. Or it could also be that You attract people or you involve yourself in situations that aren't completely on the up and up in some way. Like you might know that there's something not very honest taking place here, not very ethical even taking place here. And it's up to you to decide to honor that instinct and honor that intuition if that's what you're feeling. But especially in the first year of this, you know that you need to be sort of out there more, but it might feel a little bit, like uncertain ground. However, once we get you to the later part, again, 2017, you come up to one of the best cycles you have to experience, the closest thing to love, not just love at first sight, but a love that actually has the potential to last for a very, very long time. And so this could really be a time when you attract that life partner. Becomes very strongly indicated here. Uranus is the ruling planet of your opposite sign of partnership, marriage as well. Speaking in harmony with Saturn, which is also the ruling planet of your opposite sign, which also has to do with stability and security and long-term. This is one of the best, really one of the best times that I think if you're single, of meeting that person that feels like resonates, that person resonates very, very quickly, that feels like a right fit to you very, very quickly. So you can have that hope, you can believe in love, and it seems to be very much like a romance-oriented situation that could very likely play out for you. This part of the sky also has to do with if you are in an established bond. This is about the reawakening of the love that brought you to that person to begin with, and a reawakening of the love that ultimately keeps you together. So there is going to be a greater priority placed on how it is that you can nurture that bond and how it is that you can continue to understand and to keep a certain connection between the two of you going. If you've been with your partner for a long time, it can become very much about the routines. It can become very much about the commitment, the partnership, and not so much about the connection of the joy that brought you together to begin with. So this becomes about being a little bit more diligent with keeping that connection alive, with keeping that, whether you want to call it passion, whether you want to call it romance, whether you want to call it just joy and fun, with doing things you know help you appreciate the value that this person brings into your life. This part of the sky also has to do with self-actualization. And what that means is being well used for the things that you like within yourself. And with Saturn in this part of the sky, what it is ultimately, what that path is going to be towards your self-actualization becomes a lot clearer, and you commit a lot deeper to that process as well. This part of the sky has to do with happiness. It has to do with joy, and it has to do with engaging in life with a spirit of joy, a spirit of fun, understanding life as a game. And it's a game that you can think that you're in it to win it, or you can think that you're in it to actually enjoy the process of it. Regardless, it is something that you are now going to be asked to engage in, to consider how to bring more passion to every area of life, how to be more present, how to be more joyous as well. And these are considerations that are very much what it means to be the best qualities, to bring forward the best qualities of what it means to be human. Well, thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great transit of Saturn. Enjoy.